I know. Hey, Graham. So
Hey,
good to see you.
yeah,
We're going to
it's
talk
been a
about
while.
bikes. Yeah, it's been a while. We're going to talk about bikes,
Uh,
adventures, maybe West Coast adventures, maybe some new gear. I know a couple of different things. I know like the latest video that you kind of talked, it was wet and wild.
man, I was
And
not
uh,
ready.
so, so you ended up doing a ride, and I want to talk a little bit about that with Carlos and Tony. It was kind of like their bachelorette kind of ride. Is that kind of what it was? And it was, maybe it wasn't supposed to be wet and wild, but it turned wet and wild. You had some storms, right?
Yeah,
So,
and I had like this busy week of work. I didn't pay attention. I just thought it was going to rain maybe on Sunday, and didn't pack accordingly. And it's just one night we had rented a house. So I just didn't even I don't know. I didn't really carefully think about what's going to happen. And I showed up to the start, and Carlos started talking about we're going to get wet. I'm like, what do you mean today? like like soon? And that's when I realized I was in trouble because I didn't bring any. I have all
yeah,
this great Enduro rain jackets and all this stuff. I had none of
yeah, you got some good equipment, I know, and it's a shame you just left it at home. You didn't even check the weather.
it. I left it
That's
at home. And I
that
was
kind of
like,
seems like rule number one. I don't
yeah,
know.
I usually ask my wife what the weather's going to be, and it drives her nuts. You can open the same app I have that you have. You can look at it, but you're asking me what the weather's going to be.
Yeah,
So she thought that was kind of funny.
that is funny. So you show up at kind of, and so where did you guys start? You show up, you kind of find out it's going to rain. You're like, well, I'm in. I'm all in. I'm
Yeah, we're
going out.
going. Yeah, it's just north of Gainesville. It's like 30 minutes from my house. This place called Critter Creek. It's owned by a good friend of mine who's a cyclist. It's a animal sanctuary, and they've got a bunch of cows and horses and pigs. They rescue,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
it's a totally it's a haven for animals that are in need. And he's got a bunch of cows that are in distress that come there, and he brings them in, feeds them, makes them help them heal, and they
Right.
just live there. It's awesome.
That is really cool. Yeah, I saw the video. It looks pretty cool. I think my kids would love to go check that out. They love animals, so cats, dogs, bobcats, sheep, whatever,
Whatever you
goats.
got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, so that's where like they camped. Some of them camped the night before. I did not, but they camped out there the night before, and that's where the ride started.
Yeah. So okay, first you're riding through. Okay, so it's kind of it's going to be real quick. You know, you're going to get some weather. So let's talk through. You leave the sanctuary, and obviously the game. The whole point of this is to hang out. It's a big group ride. So let's. How many people were there? Kind of what was the atmosphere like? Was it kind of like just a big mix of people? I mean, what was going on?
Yeah, some like some regulars, and then a couple of newbies, but some of the usuals, that want to celebrate Carlos and Tony getting married. They're actually in Patagonia right now. They got married
Nice.
and went to Patagonia, so they're in. I wanted to have Carlos on because we talk about his experience, kind of
Yeah.
funny,
Yeah.
but what he went through and what I went through, because he had a much different experience because we were trying to outrun it. He's like he's connected to the earth. He's just spiritual with the earth,
Yeah.
knows the storms and can surf the pocket, as he says. But he was watching the storms and surfed around it. But we went charging out, and I was with
Wow.
Sydney and Matt. This is for Sydney's first ever bikepacking trip. Bikepacking in a sense, he's carrying his stuff. We rented a house or a cabin at Ellie Ray's. It was cool to have Sydney along, and Matt's been a long time friend and adventurer. He just goes on any adventure I say I'm doing.
Yeah.
He doesn't care, blindly goes, and he loves it. So those were my buddies, and we just kind of hammered along into the storm. And we started getting rained on in the first hour
Oh, wow.
immediately, and all
And
I
you
had
just
was like
kind
a
of,
windbreaker.
I mean, is it like just light rain or was it like the sideways Florida driving rain, like you're just soaked?
It was storming. I mean, it started with the light rain, of course, and then
Right.
we had an option to go to the store at mile 20.
Yeah.
And we kind of pushed ahead, and we decided to keep going. And I texted Carlos, we're going to keep moving, try to get to Fort White where the food trucks are at like mile 50. And we got drilled with rain, man. It just soaked us. We did not miss it. By the time we got out of Bellamy Road and we turned north and Carlos turned off, that's when we last saw them. He's so smart. He went to the store. It's that
Yeah.
convenience store that has little baby alligators and stuff. They went to the store and the storm came through and we just went right into it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, there's probably an app for that.
Yeah.
So
Too late for me.
it's the weather app.
I finally just took
Trying to see
I had
what's
this
going on.
dumb jacket that was it was a windbreaker,
Yeah.
and it just collected. I finally just took it off. It just was
Yeah.
collecting water. I was just getting soaked. I had to like hide my helicopters and
Yeah.
plastic bags and stuff because they were going to get ruined. I was so unprepared for this.
Right. I think for me, just riding in wet weather, like the worst part, and literally, you know it's coming. Like it starts to rain, and you're getting hit and all that, and you're kind of just dealing with it. But it's not until like you feel the water running down your leg, collecting in the sock, and it starts to go into your shoe. Like you're like, okay, it's I'm wet now, like
Yeah.
to the bottom of my feet. Like I'm just
That's
wet.
where sandals win, bro. This is
Yeah.
where like wearing my sandals,
Right.
my feet are fine.
Yeah.
Actually I don't mind it at all. Like I used to hate wet shoes. Wet sandals, not a problem.
Not
I'm
a
wearing them
problem,
all the
right?
time. Yeah.
And you're
I was a
still
big
loving that,
winner.
right? You're still
Oh
loving
yeah.
them, and yeah.
They're super comfortable. They're easy for bike packing because I don't have to bring an extra pair of shoes. Wherever I go, those are my shoes. I use them for the bike and I use them for walking around camp or restaurants or whatever. They're just like it is one less thing I have to worry about, and they're super comfortable.
Yeah, that's. I keep thinking I'll do that. I love sandals, by the way, so it
Yeah.
sounds like a great idea. And after doing, the one bikepacking trip, I'm like, why bring two pairs of shoes, right?
Hmm.
Why?
Why?
For
I've
me, it's
lost a
like,
shoe on a trip.
yeah,
Yeah, it
I
sucks.
wear a size 13, and like you can't find
It's a big
like
shoe.
lightweight size
13?
13 shoes, yeah, unless you make them out of like balsa wood, and of
Oh,
course that doesn't last very long. And I'm thinking like, man, I'm gonna have to find a different way. So that is kind of like when you find your way doing this bike packing thing. I'm still figuring that piece out. Like I've got to lighten that up in some way. So yeah, you guys are rolling out, and I want to talk a little bit about because it looks like on the map when I was watching the video, kind of all Mill Creek Preserve. So y'all took Bellamy, right? Bellamy Road.
Old Bellamy Road, which I talk about and nerd out on all the time.
Yeah,
First federal highway.
yeah,
It was built in 1800s, connected St. Augustine to Pensacola. It's really cool that parts of it still exist. Dirt road parts of it still exist,
right.
and so we were on Bellamy Road a couple times.
And I would say just one little small thing, and I love the way you said it there, because there is a debate out there between our friends over in Pensacola and really the people who are right in St. Augustine on where the oldest place is, and they're staking claim to it. So I like the idea that it was from St. Augustine to Pensacola. So I think that was the right way to say that. Now I know in your video you listed it the other way, and I was like, man, I don't know if I like that. That kind of bugs me being in St. Augustine myself, but I know what you mean. I know the heart behind it.
I didn't realize there was a sensitivity around that,
Oh,
but
there's a lot of
I'll get behind it.
sensitivity. But yeah, so the rain didn't. So with the rain, I guess that's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, it's good in the sense that yeah, things are getting wet and the sand is a little bit firmer. But it's bad in the sense that it probably kept your helicopters inside a little bit more, right? Wrapped up,
Yeah,
protected.
I got some shots right before the rain, when all the group was still together, and then that was pretty much it for the day. So it was just
Yeah.
the helicopter will definitely get ruined. It's not waterproof.
Now I saw that part of the roads looks like use some of those roads for the Gateway gravel ride,
Yeah,
or
we
you
went
got
right through High Springs,
yeah,
which is an event coming up in May, the Gateway.
yeah.
K, which is a fun ride that Carlos does out of High Springs Brewery. Actually, this year High Springs Brewery is going to open early, and that is going to be our starting spot. They have food trucks there, and of course you can stop and have beers after or
Yeah.
whatever your wish is. But it's a great spot. High Springs is terrific.
And I'm gonna have to look on that. And that's a Saturday, right? The 24th.
Yeah,
I may actually try to make that one.
yeah, dude. Those roads.
Yeah, I've done
I
the
mean,
multi-day, Carlos. I want to do the single day.
yeah,
It looks fun. Not too
yeah.
far
We have
away.
like a little rest stop in the middle of nowhere, bomb pops and drinks and stuff. It's
Oh,
fun, and
cool.
those roads
Good.
are so just so good. Always so
Yeah.
good.
So the whole point is that you guys are on your way to an oasis, from my understanding, right? Even though it was raining, there was a different type of oasis which consisted of sustenance, some food,
Yeah,
right?
food
In Fort
trucks.
White, which people may not know, Fort White is a huge attraction for bikepackers, at least who are looking for food.
Yeah.
And so tell me about that experience.
Yeah, so this place, the Collaborative, it's a food truck collaborative, and this guy who actually moved up from Miami, he wanted to get out of South Florida, moved to Fort White of all places, and started this food truck collaborative. And it's amazing. He has like a country kitchen,
Yeah.
then he has the taco truck, then he have like a wings and like burgers type of truck. So he's got three trucks there, all with they've got a covered area, like a pole barn covered area with benches, and they get bathrooms, and I mean, and they had hoses to hose off our dirty bikes. I mean, those guys are so nice. Couldn't be better, and it's really exciting to see what they're doing there. Because in the past, High Springs had nothing really. There's like a Subway and a couple of dirty convenience stores, but this is like legit good food. And we had amazing like tacos from. Well, I had a
You had a turtle. Yeah,
tortada. I forget what
the
torta.
turtle.
Torta. Yeah, it looked like a turtle, but it was really good.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Yeah, I saw photos, part of the video. It looked really cool. I mean, I love those open air kind of things, and it was probably just nice. I mean, here you were, you've been riding, getting out of the rain a little bit, getting a little bit of nutrition, hanging out, kind of recalibrating a little bit, maybe even opening up your app to kind of see
Yeah,
what's going to happen.
yeah, I was trying to figure out like we're going like okay, we got to get to Ellie Ray's, our destination. Looking at like can we make it? And there, we had to go by Dollar General get a couple things, of course.
Yeah.
Disappointing Dollar just Dollar General, just man, they just don't. They're not good for bike packing. I don't know. They're not very snacky.
No, it's not very snacky.
But we went by there and then stopped by. Actually, I got the helicopter up and went over to the Itchinatuckney, which is
Yeah.
man, they built a new bridge over this Itchinatuckney. Have you ever been there?
Yeah. I have, but not. I mean, I've been to the river and floated down it. Yeah, I've done that, but I haven't been to the area where you were at.
Yeah, so that area is like south of where the takeout is. So
Yeah, it looks
that's
really
where
cool.
it connects to the Santa Fe, and it looks like the Bahamas.
It
Like
does.
the
It's
water is so
beautiful.
tropical.
Yeah, it's a
I,
beautiful area. I mean, water is beautiful there. That's for
that's a
sure.
must do for anybody.
Yeah,
Go float this in a Tuckney. It's unreal.
that's right.
The alligators won't get you, I promise.
They shouldn't get you. We'll say that. Just a disclaimer. They shouldn't get you, but use
Probably
caution.
won't.
Yeah,
No,
there's
people
some
are so
good.
worried.
It's some good footage, man. I mean, I loved the aspect of just kind of high up, looking down, and I didn't see any manatees and such, but I mean, you start thinking about like creatures living in the water, alligators, other humans, whatever, fish. It is very crystal clear. And when you think of Florida, you don't often think of that. But that didn't mean the rain was over because it looks like you guys got hammered.
I know it's so funny. Like I was like, okay, we're in the clear. Let's stop here, and I'm just going to put the helicopter up. This guy's like,
Right.
they're just willing to do whatever I say. And little I know, like the next round of storms, because I made them stop. We got hit by another round of rain,
Yeah.
like driving rain, as we're trying to get Ellie Ray's. It's not
Yeah.
that much further. We're just taking bike path and then a couple of dirt roads to get to Ellie Ray's, and just
Right.
got drilled by another storm. Like 2 storm cells just killed us.
And this storm, that was a little bit of a cool front, right? Moving through, pushing through slowly, it seems like.
Yeah, it was just cold and wet.
Yeah. And so, okay, you make it to Ellie Ray's, which I mean, that sounds like you have to be a local to kind of know what that is, but like, let's unpack what that was. What is Ellie Ray's?
Yeah, it's a local favorite. I've heard about it for years from some like people that live out that way. You hear about them talking about Ellie Ray's. It's this bar, restaurant on the river. It's also a campground. So it's kind of famous because there really isn't much out there. So people go there to party and
Yeah.
have dinner or whatever. They've got food and nightlife and bands and
That's so funny.
yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere, huh?
Yeah, it's on the river though. Really nice big campground, and they have cabins that you rent, or like we rented this house that was, it was kind of
Wow.
sketchy, but and of course this is the dumbest thing. I don't understand why they don't have linens. Like you have to bring them. Like we knew that ahead of time this time because last year when we did this, we showed
Right.
up and we got a cabin. We're like, what do you mean you don't have linens? I've never heard of this. So this year we brought I just brought my sleeping bag and slept on that,
Yeah.
which
That's smart.
it was okay, but yeah, this house, man, it's seen some action, I guess. It's pretty rough.
Well, at least you weren't outside in the rain and
Oh yeah,
things like
no,
that.
everybody started getting capped. Like when the rain, like people were going to camp out, and they have a bunch of cabins that were open, and they
Right.
were really nice. They gave everybody a discount,
Oh, that's
so
good.
everybody ended up sleeping inside.
Yeah.
So everybody's because it was just too wet, man. It was just
Yeah.
miserable.
That
Yeah,
looks pretty
there's
cool,
a lot of characters in that place.
I mean-
we had a band, 8-track revival, I think it was called. And it
That's
was
awesome.
exactly that. It was all these like 8-track tunes, from like the 70s and 80s, and there was
Yeah.
the local characters hitting the drinks and then getting up there and dancing. It was pretty entertaining.
That's awesome. And I was noticing too, and you may not know this, Graham, but that place, Ellie Ray's, if you go to Google, it has 5-star Google review.
Oh, that was me, right?
Yeah, there was two reviews, but those 2 reviews are 5 stars. So that tells you it is a
Were they
special
reviewing
place.
the restaurant, or were they reviewing the RV
You know,
campground? Or they
I
weren't
don't
reviewing
know.
my house that I rented.
I have
for
no
way too
idea.
much.
And so I want to kind of talk about you're up early the next morning,
Yeah.
and I saw what your breakfast was. I'm kind of it's embarrassing. I don't know. I don't know many people that start off their day maybe with a Snickers bar, or maybe you were just saving that. I don't know.
Oh
I saw
no.
that. I was like, is that your breakfast?
No, I did not. Actually, that dang Snickers bar traveled with me all the way back to
Did it? Okay.
home. Yeah, I didn't have that. I had some oatmeal.
Yeah.
I made some my perk coffee.
Right.
No, that was I
And you
wasn't ready.
checked the radar.
I did, and we all had this plan. Like we're a bunch of geniuses. Like, oh, there's the storm cell. We got to go now. It's like 4 or 5 a.m. And the
Yeah.
time had changed. Like we had to have the time change, so it
Yeah.
was like 6 a.m. Is like 5 a.m. I don't know. It's like lost.
It's
We were so
something.
tired.
Yeah.
We didn't sleep good. But we just like we're gonna like yeah we had this urgency like we need to
Right. Got to go.
outride the storm, and so we rolled in the dark.
Yeah.
Thinking
Blinky lights are necessary, right? You had your blinky lights.
oh, it was dark. And
Yeah.
as we're like 5 miles out, I look back and see just lightning flashes and stuff. And we had to get to Fort White's like 15 miles away. That's where those food trucks are. So we're like, okay, let's get to Fort White at least.
Yeah.
And it's just like I looked at the stupid, I looked at the radar, and it's just like this red dot like coming
Right.
at us, right
Now,
at us.
did everyone leave, or was it just a group of you
No,
that were
it's
smart
just
that
all
left?
three. But Carlos is like, I'm leaving later. He doesn't. I must drive him crazy with my insanity of waking up early and probably riding too fast. But we're like,
Get on the road. Yeah.
no, they waited. So I texted him. We actually got to Fort White right as it started raining, and got back to those food trucks, and they were open. I couldn't believe it. They were open, and the country kitchen one's open, and you can just smell like they make homemade sausage.
Oh man. That
So we
sounds so
rolled in
good.
there right as it starts raining. I text Carlos. I'm like, I'm in Fort White. He's like, we're going to wait here for this to pass. We're
Yeah.
not in any hurry. And he's looking at it. So he's like, we're going to wait here. I go, well, the breakfast truck's open. We're getting breakfast. Dude.
Yeah. It looked amazing, man. The food. Get
He
some
said-
probably some coffee maybe, and just
Yeah.
kind of.
So good. He said he had pancakes. I was like, yes. Give me 2 big pancakes. They got
Dude.
Sydney and Matt got like burritos. I went straight pancakes. It was
Yeah.
I do not regret. That was the best decision.
Yeah. Well, you made the right decision then. You left early. You got food.
Yeah.
The rain's kind of going, and you're like, cool. Now it's just kind of keep on trekking back with the time change, right?
Yeah, we got breakfast and the storm just hit. It was like really, really hard rain. I mean, really, it would have been horrible to ride through. I mean, harder
Yeah.
than anything we've been through so far.
Yeah.
And so we were thankfully in that covered area and having an amazing breakfast. It was pretty magical, honestly. Then once it passed, we just started rolling back towards Critter Creek. Kind of took a more direct route, knowing that there was more rain coming. And we're like, okay, we knew like the next round of rain was a few hours behind us.
Right.
We were just going to get moving and head straight back.
Yeah. So you make it, and then it's just, I guess, just kind of off and on, maybe a little windy, rainy, whatever else going on. At least you had a
Yeah.
tailwind, right? Kind of tailwind.
Yeah, we
maybe
did
ish.
kind of, and I
So-
thought we had it nailed, right? Like, so
Yeah.
we were probably 10 miles from Critter Creek, and I was like, oh, we have this. Like, we're in the window. Like, we surfed the pocket perfectly. We're gonna be great. We get to this one like last section of dirt road, which is just beautiful. I love riding through there. I'm like, I got to get some like helicopter shots of this.
Yeah.
Like, you guys, I'm gonna put the helicopter up, which adds a huge delay on any ride, by the way.
Yes.
So I got to take
Yes.
it out and do all that stuff and make it so they're riding off, and I'm like flying the helicopter, and chasing them. I did that, so it definitely adds time. So I chased them down the road, around this corner, up this bend, and so I got it like 2 miles away, and I start flying it back towards me. As the helicopter turns, I can see like what's behind me, and it's just like this dark, ominous, it looks like
Like, what's
a
going on?
hurricane's coming in or something. I was like, oh no. I just I flew it back as fast as I could. And I got it in my bag and just started riding. And I texted guys, I go, just go. We're in trouble. Our thing looks. And as I come up over a hill and turn right, I look behind me, and it's just this mass of dark, dark clouds. And I
Right.
look at the radar, and it is nasty, like bright red and orange stuff just coming right at us. That was
Oh,
like sort of tail. Like I was looking at the radar. I was like, if we head straight south, so we could get under this thing maybe.
right.
And unlike Carlos, my capacity to surf the pocket is not good. And I'm just like, go south, go south. I got Sydney on the front. He's just a horse. Like, he's so strong.
Yeah.
he's just pulling us, and I'm just like, and it just we got nailed again.
Uh,
One more round of
it's like it's almost like if you go out to the beach and you're getting hit with a few waves and you see like the big one coming. It's like you can't move out of the way fast enough. You can't get out of the water. You're going to get knocked down and drug. And it's one of those
yep.
moments.
And we got and it's so funny. Like afterwards, I was talking to Carlos after we got back, and I was heading
Hmm.
back to the house. He's like, "Yeah, we stayed dry all day." I'm like,
Of
what?
course you did.
Yeah, he's like, he did it perfect. He waited for the first cell, went to Fort White, had breakfast. The next cell came through. He waited, watched, and then just rode in, totally
Yeah.
dry, not a bit
Which
of rain.
I think it leads me to one of the points. If I was going again, I'm watching a video. I did not get to partake in the adventure, so you might have some other kind of takeaway. But I almost get the sense that planning it's good, but can also be dangerous. Sometimes it's just you just got to make these decisions on the fly,
Yeah,
and you had to learn that.
trust
Like
Carlos. Always listen
yeah,
to Carlos. Always
Carlos,
do
right?
what Carlos. Yeah, he knows, man. He's so good at this stuff. He's
Yeah,
so good at knowing like how to stay dry, how to avoid trouble.
yeah,
I was worried. I was like, I had texted him, I was like, hey, dude, if somebody needs to rescue, I can pick him up. I can, I'm back in the car. Let me know who needs. He's like, we're fine. I'm like, what do you go home? We're fine. We're
we're
dry.
good.
We
We're
had no. I
completely
was looking
dry.
at that storm cell. I thought it was gonna like take him out like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. I thought they were all going to be swept away by some tornado.
You
They're
should have wore
fine.
your red shoes,
Yeah. Oh,
your
I
road
have those.
shoes,
That was
your
the one
road
that
red.
broke my foot. Yeah. My ruby
Oh
slippers.
man,
It was a great experience though. Sydney's
yeah.
first like overnight. Now he's all in. He's actually looking for a bike packing bike, and
Well, good.
Matt is excited. Originally, I loaned all my bike packing bags to Matt. He's now bought all his bags. He's returning to me, so
Nice.
I loan them to the next friend. I want to suck
Yeah.
into this
Get pulled into this.
madness. Like, here's some free bags to try. You don't have to spend
Yeah.
any money.
Yeah. That's so funny. Renting the bags out for free.
Yeah,
Free
because
rent for the first 2 months.
it's gonna cost you a bike and God knows what else.
No bikepacking trip is without some sort of surprise.
Yeah,
Whether it's mechanical, whether it's who knows what, you get sick or you're dealing with weather. And it sounds like this one brought you some surprises, obviously on not feeling great, but also just having to deal with the weather and negotiate that. But in the end, the worst thing is that yeah, maybe you weren't feeling 100%. You got a little bit wet, but you also made memories, which is
that
cool.
was great. No, it was
Yeah,
fun. I love like I've really got to know Sydney in the past year doing these
yeah,
things with him. He's such a great guy, man. I've just gotten to like people that attract to this sport or way of life. It just attracts these genuine like good people trying to like to
yeah,
make the most of their days. I mean, it's
yeah,
some of them are like a little older like me in their 50s, and you just feel like this is the time of your life you should be enjoying yourself and
right,
connecting with others, connecting with community. There's kind of a spiritual aspect of this idea of living off your bike and being in this community, and being on the road and just on your own left to your own devices trying to
yeah.
survive on your bike.
Yeah, I think in the spiritual community, especially a faith community, it would just be I've always heard the term as the Lord leads, and this kind of it's like hey yeah we're going this direction. Well, we kind of think we should go over here, and you just kind of experience something new, and it's a cool thing. It sounds like you guys got to do that, and
But
nope,
you get so attracted to
right,
these outings and these events. Like Carlos is attracts so many people that keep coming back, regulars, because
right,
it is, man. It's when I get on my bike for 2 days, you couldn't live more life. It's amazing when you leave that place and head out on this journey. It's like you go into a different dimension. I mean, I liken it to like when you're going over the interstate at
right,
I-10. You look at all those people like driving their car and getting. And I've been that person, but I'm just like, man, I'm in a different world here that they don't even like. I'm in a different plane. It's like the fourth dimension when you're on your bike because you're just not rushing. You're just living life every minute, minute to minute to minute. It's
yeah.
really a way to embrace life and experience things in a way which genuinely fulfilling. It's
All right, so real quick, what do you have coming up, man? What's on the horizon? I know we're starting to shift into the warmer. Let's just call it the warmer season in Florida.
yeah,
And I know that means a departure from multi-day because no one in their right mind wants to sleep outside in Florida when it's, 10,000% humidity going on.
yeah.
Like, what are the things that you're looking at?
Well, Carlos has one more. Well, he's got beer, bourbon, and bike packing coming up early May.
Yeah.
And then he's also got Forgotten Florida, which is a route that he and I developed together years ago. It was the first route I actually did with him. And that is an amazing trip. It is the wildest, most genuine, real Florida experience.
Right.
I encourage anybody to do Forgotten Florida. And that's coming up in April as well. And I'll put the dates here on the video. But that's those two are really good. But I love Forgotten Florida. That was one of my first real scouting and development type routes that I put together that actually worked,
Right.
and is still in existence. And I would
That's so
repeat it
cool.
over and over. But we're going into summer with Gateway in May. And then we'll also do Charles Springs again. But this weekend coming up, I've got a new route, buddy. I've got a new
Yeah.
route. New things
Nice.
happening.
Yeah.
I'm taking, as you know, our good friend Joy and some of
Yeah.
her friends, some of the moms. We're going to go, and it's, I guess, 70, it's not a big ride, but it's 75 miles, but it's in between Brantford and Wellburn, Florida.
Right.
Look
Right.
it up on a map
Wow.
because it's nowhere in this
World
route.
famous.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So it's one of these one-day gravel routes. It's going to connect some things, but it's for a one-day loop. It's going to be great. So I'm going to probably
That's
do a video for that. So we'll probably do that next.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. Always something going on.
Right.
Let's
And I'm
ride
just
bikes.
like making an observation, at least in the community here in Northeast Florida. It seems like spring is more chill, relaxed, but once we hit fall, things ramp up. I mean, yeah, there's still the slow pace of bike packing, but also come the gravel races
Yes.
and multi-day or one day, as fast as you can, whatever that is for
Yeah.
you. Your speed.
Yeah. Let's go.
So you're talking to get
We doing
spicy.
it?
The spice level goes up, right?
Let's
Or
go.
can.
It's going like Tally Tango in October and Kings Road in October.
Yeah.
I've got a new bike coming.
Yeah. Nice.
A Basso go
Yeah.
fast gravel bike. I can't
Awesome.
wait. It's
Yeah.
gonna be nasty. It's gonna be here in a few more weeks, but
Nice.
I'll have more to say about that. But that's gonna be my Kings Road weapon.
Okay.
I'll be riding it all summer, and
Your
I'm
secret
building
weapon.
up. Dude, I've been riding like a cyclocross bike from 2013 on these like gravel rate, like 200-mile races. That's not ideal. Carbon. I haven't had a carbon bike in more than a decade. It's gonna be carbon. It's gonna be fast. It's gonna be This is gonna be built to break the 14-hour mark, I guess.
Well, we can do an
Kings
AB
Road.
challenge, man. I'll bring my gravel, a tie
Yeah.
bike, and we'll just kind of see, man. We'll see what happens.
Are you gonna join me? Are you in for Kings Road?
I can be in, Graham.
It
I
can be.
in. It depends.
Maybe.
It depends on if you're throwing out like, yeah, I'm going to do this in 12 hours versus I'm going to do this in like something more my speed. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what your goals are.
I'm in.
So-
Matt's in. Matt said he's doing it.
Okay. Well, good.
I'm going fast.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's just knock it out.
We're gonna win it.
That'd be great. Yeah. Well, Graham, man, it's great chatting it up, man. Excited about
Yeah.
some of the things coming up. Excited about, well, we're not done with the season yet. Finishing out the season strong, jumping into some of these one-day events that are happening late spring, early into the summer and such, and then ramping up. I mean, summer is that base season, right? You're going to be laying the base down for what will be a very fast and furious fall, it sounds like.
Yes.
So, well,
Very.
Graham, thanks so much for your videos, man. Make sure you guys check out the video there that he posted, that wet and wild weekend, just dodging storms, eating amazing food for the same spot. These little interesting places, but it's off the beaten path. And I think it's a good reminder to all of us. There's some real great places out there to slow down and enjoy it. So Graham, thanks so much. And we will see you all next time.
Thanks, Billy.